Everybody in the country has seen the three-pointers by Jerry McNamara. They know what he's done the last couple of days, but you're equally impressed with the way he's gotten his teammates involved in those 2 wins.
Well, certainly in the UConn game, Jerry McNamara was a distributor early, and the reason is he wants to get others involved. A terrific job, 13 total assists, 9 in the first half. Syracuse had 5 players in double figures in that game, and 47 points from the much-maligned front line. Getting them involved early is motivation to run the floor, to get involved in the half, and really to build leads and set up the heroics for Jerry McNamara.
These 2 schools met less than 2 weeks ago on senior day at Georgetown, and the Hoyas had a fairly easy 15-point win. What did they do well?
Well, it was all about Jeff Green, a 6'9" sophomore, hit the sweet spots against that 2-3 zone. He's got the ability to hit the short jumpers, read the zone, and find people, and Georgetown's going to rely on him as entry passes to try to break that 2-3.
Time now to take a look at our TD Waterhouse Star Watch, and for Georgetown, you can pick so many different people. They're so balanced. We have chosen Brandon Bowman tonight.
Well, Brandon Bowman, a senior forward, he's going to be a major factor because of teammate Jeff Green's success. Green with 18 points against is going to point to him. Bowman's going to have a big game. And Jerry McNamara, what can he do for an encore? Central in the orange success. He makes his teammates better. A double-double against UConn. 17 points and 13 huge assists.
He has played 80 of 85 minutes so far in this tournament despite a slight groin strain, and he rolled his ankle last night, but he's still playing some fabulous basketball. For more on GMAC, Jerry McNamara, let's go to Mark Jones.
Yeah, McNamara guys telling me that after both games so far in the tournament, he spent 30 minutes back at the hotel in a tub of ice to try and get better. Says 2 things are going to be key for tonight's game to conserve energy. He's going to have Eric, and 2, he says, hey, I'll take myself out of the game like I did last night just to stay fresh. But the best medicine for Jerry McNamara might have been a text message that he received from his former teammate, Hakeem Warwick, this morning. It said, 2 down, 2 to go, Jerry. Back to you guys.
Well, they are halfway to accomplishing what no team in the Big East history has done, Mark, and that's win 4 games in 4 days to win the Big East Championship. A look at our starting lineups tonight, beginning with the Orange, and in the backcourt, the senior McNamara and the talented freshman Devin. 3/4 of the, at times, maligned junior class, but all 3 of these guys have been playing extremely well here in this tournament. Darrell Watkins, in particular, has had some of the biggest games of his career. For Georgetown, a very balanced bunch. Coach John Thompson III says, I really have 6 starters along with Darrell Owens. Cook and Wallace, both threats to score in the backcourt. And up front, the man in the middle, Roy Hibbert, 7'2". He can be a menace around the rim. Georgetown had 17 offensive rebounds in their win over Syracuse 2 weeks ago. Tonight's telecast is available in stunning high definition on ESPN HD, brought to you by Dish Network.
And Dan, referencing Mark Jones's comment about Eric Devendorf bringing it up against pressure to rest Jerry McNamara, that's kind of a high-risk strategy. Devendorf on the season, more turnovers than assists. But against UConn and their pressure, Devendorf had 0 turnovers in 35 minutes. So we'll see how that works.
Len, how was that? It was up briefly for the stat of the night, with Syracuse winning it over. In Big East tournament history, who have won in overtime, are 0-16 in their next game. Roberts flying to the rim.
We've had enough history made here today.
Right.
We can stand a little more.
The lob inside, Darrell Watkins. Roberts in the paint can't get a handle on it. Nichols will save it, but into the backcourt, and that'll be an over and back on the Orange.
Effort to try to get it into the big people in the front line, as we mentioned. Get them involved early. That's the best motivator, to get your big guys to rebound, to run, and remain active.
Hall of Famer Jim Boeheim, in his 30th season as head coach of the Orange, says that the win over Connecticut yesterday was one of the very best wins the program has had in his 44 years at Syracuse as a player, assistant coach, or head coach.
And against the 2-3 zone, keep an eye on 32, Jeff Green, below the free throw line in the short corner. His job is to read the defense.
He carved them up last time as a scorer and as a passer. Hibbert, the big guy, a pretty good passer as well. Bowman misses the 3. Nobody's on Hibbert underneath, but then the ball is knocked out of bounds.
Well, Georgetown will focus on weak side rebounding. The last time these 2 teams met, Georgetown was +10 on the rebounding side. And they also went to the line 24 times versus only 9 for Syracuse. So they were much more aggressive to the basket.
You saw John Thompson
Nice.
the third.
Oh.
Behind the back
Nice
pass.
block.
And Hibbert is blocked. Has now 95 blocks on the season. Got him. McNamara pulls up for 3. Roberts misses the follow slam. Ball still in play here as Devendorf comes up with it. A fresh clock for the Orange. McNamara on the drive. Watkins, the extra pass into Roberts, and he's blocked from behind by Green. Looks like Len is going to be one of those nothing easy around the rim nights for both teams.
And definitely flowing for both of them. Now underneath, we talk about interior passing by Syracuse. Georgetown doing a nice job. Bowman behind the back. Nice pass, but an even nicer block. And then inside, Georgetown doing the same thing, protecting that goal. And both teams with long, athletic frontline players who have the ability to block shots and intimidate.
The 12th time these two teams have met in Big East tournament history. Georgetown leading is 6-5. Georgetown has won 6 Big East championships, but the last 9. Syracuse has won 4, and they're the defending champs. A turnover by McNamara. Ashanti Cook unguarded. Decides to pull it out, and Georgetown is deliberate offensively. Lots of passing, lots of touches, and they'll use a lot of the clock. Jim Boeheim going to his bench early as Josh Wright is going to come in. Very proud, he says, of this particular group of players. And as McNamara comes out very early, let's take note of that. Remember, McNamara is suffering from a slight himself out a couple of times yesterday, just for a minute here, a minute there. And that groin is a concern right now, and we'll monitor McNamara's minutes. This is an early substitution for Syracuse. Green, the cross-court pass, and they don't get the shot off in time.
Well, there's such a thing as being too deliberate, and Georgetown had a couple of looks. You know, they have an idea of where they want to work the ball. Syracuse doing a much better job now of closing off Green. And you got to be able to at least have a mind of plan B. You can't get it where you want it. You got to improvise, and Georgetown didn't do it on that possession.
And Syracuse clearly a much different team than they were just a couple of weeks ago when they were not playing well at all. They played some of their best basketball of the year here in New York. Roberts leaves the jumper short, and almost 3 minutes in, we are still scoreless. And there's a block on Josh Wright, who's got to be careful with the foul. McNamara's health. He may play a lot of minutes.
Well, again, looking to extend that defense. Wright wants to keep Georgetown. Once they get below the free throw line extended, you want to keep them down there, set up the double teams in the corner.
When Matt Gorman has checked into the game now for Terrence Roberts for Syracuse. Jim Boeheim may not have liked that 18-foot jump shot that Roberts tried last time down the floor. Hibbert, there's the extra pass. Wallace open for 3, and Georgetown strikes first.
And Jonathan Wallace had mark on his shot, kind of reminiscent of Quincy Doobie. You get it up there high enough, it decompresses.
Wallace 43% from beyond the arc on the season. Devendorf trying to shake Cook. 15 on the shot clock.
Boy, that's good defense right there. Cook never allowed Devendorf to turn the corner. Nichols
a long 3. Rebound Georgetown. The Hoyas allowing fewer than 60 points per game on the season. And then the pass off the fingertips of Green out of bounds.
About tempo control and defense. That's where it starts. And they maximize their possessions on the other end and very precise in executing their offense.
Len, is this our alarm bells going off right now for Syracuse fans? Jerry McNamara just doesn't sit down 2 minutes into a game if nothing's wrong. We know that the groin has been a problem, and now Josh Wright, his replacement, turns it over, and is Syracuse in a little early trouble here?
Yeah, you'd have to say that they are. Again, I think even psychologically, McNamara's teammates, knowing what he's done in the first 2 games, see him sitting on the bench for a long period of time, they've got to start wondering. Fumbles, the more despondent these guys are going to become.
A travel is the call. So McNamara on the bench. Wright struggling in his place. 5-0 Hoyas. At DePaul, one of the ugliest losses in the Jim Boeheim era as head coach at Syracuse. And at that point, a lot of observers said, you know what, they're done. They're out. They're not going to make it. And then on Senior Day Sunday, Jerry McNamara's Senior Day, they lost to Villanova. No shame in that. They come to the Big East Championship as a number 9 seed to play in the 8-9 game against Cincinnati. Jerry McNamara with a game-winning 3 with less than a second to go. And then yesterday, McNamara's 3 forces overtime, beats number 1 UConn to advance to the semis. Also in the past week, a walk-on in the Syracuse program named Todd Burak came down with a sudden case of appendicitis and had to undergo an emergency appendectomy.
Gee, I wonder what that's like.
Well, I can tell you, but this is not about me. 6 days ago, this was on Saturday, and he said to the doctor, "Doc, do what you have to do, but you're getting me out of the hospital tomorrow. I am not missing." And I don't know how the young man got out of the hospital less than 24 hours later, because I sure didn't. But Burak was there for McNamara's Senior Day. Josh Wright fouled hard by Jeff Green, and all of his teammates help him up as Syracuse looks to get on the board. There's Mr. Burak in street clothes tonight, just 6 days after the operation, not ready to play. Had his appendix removed last Saturday, and
looking like a coach, though.
He looks fine.
Either that or he belongs on Wall Street.
So good for him that he said he was barely able to walk, but he was there Senior Day at the care. Still in the game. Jerry McNamara is still on the bench. If you missed the first couple of minutes of the game, McNamara started, played a couple of minutes, but then either took himself out or was taken out. That we don't know. But as we mentioned off the top of the show, and as you may have read or heard earlier today, McNamara is suffering from a slight groin injury. They knew coming to New York they weren't safe yet. They probably had to beat Cincinnati. They did. The win over UConn certainly cements a bid for Syracuse. Are they being a little bit more cautious, or has the groin acted up a little bit more than it did the last couple of days?
Well, I'd say it's got to be a case of both. But, you know, obviously you never leave anything to chance. And until your name is called on Sunday, you know, you want to continue to play to win. And these Syracuse guys, it's all about winning the Big East Championship. You play in this conference all season, so you're looking to reap the benefits. But, again, Syracuse doing a nice job defensively. They have to tighten up defensively. And Josh Wright's going to have to give him a little confidence at the point guard position.
Devendorf the kick. Nichols, a good shooter, hits a 3. First field goal of the game for the Orange, and they're down by 1.
And they also have to be very unselfish, which they were on that possession. Excellent ball movement inside out, east, west, and good movement without it.
Len Nichols went through a big shooting slump a few weeks ago, but the last couple of games, he, along with everybody else, has really been carrying his weight offensively for Syracuse. They have become as balanced as Georgetown has been all season long.
And look at the adjustment again. Zone collapses on him when he's around that free throw line area. Oh, nice look.
Boy, backdoor cut by the guard, and Green finds Wallace for the basket, and that's where Green can really hurt you.
That's what we said at the beginning of the telecast. Jeff Green, so adept at reading defenses and finding people.
Green, just a sophomore, second team all Big East, along with the big guy in the middle, Roy Hibbert. Devendorf snakes his way inside, and Hibbert altered, if not deflected, that shot. And again, if it's not there early, as they try to thread the needle on the baseline, that pass is knocked away. Devendorf, the quick pull-up for 3. And the biggest guy of them all, you can't teach height, and Roy Hibbert comes down with a rebound.
And boy, that is such a weapon to be able to rebound like that, to limit a team 1 and out. And as we mentioned, the last time these two teams met, Georgetown plus 10 on the boards.
And had 17 offensive rebounds. Easier to rebound at the offensive end. Hibbert, a very close interior pass to Green. The extra pass out to Bowman for 3, and that is what Georgetown basketball has become. This isn't Big John Thompson's basketball anymore. This is JT3 from Princeton, his kind of basketball. And Jim Boeheim is screaming mad at one of the officials, John Cal, right now. Gorman inside. Missed a little jump hook. Green has the rebound.
Once again, 1 and out. Better looks, and you got it now. In this kind of situation, start going to your more accomplished offensive players like Devendorf.
Green misses the elbow jumper, but another offensive rebound for the Hoyas. Look at these extra passes.
Nice job. Continued penetration and kicking.
And another extra pass. Bowman finds Cook. And this is some pretty basketball being played by the Hoyas right now.
Oh, they're doing a tremendous job of finding gaps in that zone and then finding shooters.
8-point lead for the Hoyas early here in New York. The Hoyas having their way with Syracuse early here tonight. Beautiful passing, high percentage shots. 12-4 Georgetown right now as Jerry McNamara re-enters the game. Played the first couple of minutes, then sat down for about 6 minutes, but now has come back in alongside Josh Wright. McNamara's had a sensational couple of days, a couple of huge threes, a career high 13 assists yesterday in the win over UConn. He's been the biggest story so far in this tournament.
And he's back in, obviously, to help generate some offense right now. Syracuse stuck on 4, and really offense seems to be disjointed.
Brandon Bowman reaches in and commits the foul. So we'll step aside as we show you some great ball movement. All basketball fans have to appreciate this kind of thing. Georgetown making it the orange. ESPN. Well, Georgetown playing with some pride so far here tonight, playing with some unselfishness, Len, which has been one of their trademarks this year.
Well, it's all about ball movement for Georgetown. We're talking about precise execution. Jeff Green from the high post, just pinpoint accuracy, and even Roy Hibbert gets into the act with tight interior passing, goes back outside. You know, you penetrate the gaps, and you're always looking for the guy with the better shot. Georgetown offense, and again, that's what John Thompson III has brought to this program, that unselfishness.
A graduate of Princeton, the former head coach at Princeton, where he led that program to a couple of NCAA berths, and they run what they call a modified Princeton offense. One of the modifications is they have sensational athletes, so you can really do some different things. But a guy like Jeff Green, a good passing big man, everything flows through him. Demetrius Nichols with the elbow jumper, 12-6.
Well, again, you talk about the Georgetown pass, 15 assists a game on 24 field goals a game, which is about 63%. Now, by contrast, West Virginia, probably the most unselfish team, the best passing team in the Big East, averages an assist on about 70% of their field goals. So Georgetown in pretty good company.
Another illustration of how well they pass. They lead the Big East in field goal percentage. That's because they get so many layups and high percentage looks after all this passing.
Look at that shot. Boy, I like when guys have the hot, but he gives himself a chance to let it go in, and he get a shooter's roll when it hits the rim.
McNamara penetrates, and good help. Wallace with a steal. Bowman 1-on-2 and is fouled. Boy, it's 6'9" and lots of length. Bowman can get up and down the floor like a gazelle.
And then that's another illustration of the modification of the Princeton offense. When you get a chance to get out and run, and you got guys like Brandon Bowman, you don't want to hold back. Don't pull the reins back.
Bowman, the second leading scorer on the team at 11.5 points per game. There are 6 Hoyas averaging between 8 and 12 points per game. And that's why John Thompson III says, I've really got 6 starters. Darrell Owens, who's in the game now, gets starters minutes coming off the bench. And in that top 6, 3 seniors and 3 sophomores in the 2 classes working together well, just as father and son are working together well. Big John is in the house. John Thompson Jr., another Hall of Famer, and of course so much success as head coach at Georgetown. And now John Thompson III is heading to the NCAA
carry.
That did, but Darrell Watkins gets away with it.
Nice move by Watkins, though. Very assertive, just like he hesitated with the ball up in the air. And that probably gave him an advantage to get head and shoulders past Green.
Len, he's a junior, and of all the games he's played, 2 of his 3 highest scoring games have come the last 2 days here in this tournament. Watkins had 15 against Cincinnati and 14 against Connecticut.
Well, a part of that is because Jerry McNamara on the fast break in penetration, can use it, and that builds your confidence. A lot of those moves that Watkins makes and is successful with, but hadn't been before, is because of a lack of confidence, a lack of repetition.
Daryl Owens with a three. Georgetown not running the full Princeton package because Syracuse plays a zone, but we still see Len. They can pass it, they can shoot it, and they are very crisp right now.
Well, philosophically, they're running it because that's what it's about. Diversity, ball movement.
Louis McCroskey throws it away. Back come the Hoyas.
Oh,
and
right there.
Foul by Bowman as McCroskey takes it right back away from him. Now the Big East Championship presented by Aeropostale continues after this game at 9 o'clock Eastern tonight here at the Garden. The #2 team in the nation, the Villanova Wildcats, will take on the Pittsburgh Panthers. What a battle that should be. The Big East Championship presented by Aeropostale, also available in high definition on ESPN HD. Pittsburgh and Villanova did not play during the regular season. The new expanded Big East, you don't play every single team. You miss a couple of them. And Villanova and Pittsburgh didn't meet during the regular season. Mackman, his first two of the night.
And really surprisingly never really met with any resistance in the paint. And maybe that was out of respect for his passing ability. What he was able to do yesterday against UConn. UConn stepped up to help. He found Watkins or Nichols or Roberts along the baseline.
McNamara had 10 of those 13 assists yesterday in the first half as Syracuse roared out to a double-digit lead. Bowman is fouled by McCroskey.
You take a look at McNamara, slowest man, use that screen, curl, and nobody really steps up. You got a shot blocker in Roy Hibbert there, and Hibbert was kind of frozen, sticking with his man. And again, that's out of respect for McNamara's passing ability.
Brandon Bowman saying that should be a shooting foul. It doesn't appear right now that the officials agree. And now Bowman's going to come out. Green's going to come in. They're going to give Georgetown the ball on the end line. And John Thompson III is saying he was in the act of shooting. He was going up to the rim. Jesse Sapp with the ball, a freshman, New York City. He's the 7th man. Not a very deep Georgetown team. They rarely go deeper than 7. Look at this pass. Green inside to Hibbert. Jeff Green makes so many things happen.
And he gets it in that sweet spot again, right below the free throw line. And you read the middle guy. Middle guy comes up on you. You can drive around him or you can throw it by him. And you also need good hands underneath, and Hibbert has really exhibited good hands down low.
Evendorf off with the 3. Green's one of these guys can have a great game even if he doesn't score a point, and he hasn't scored. That ball in bounds. Now Syracuse with a chance to run. 3-on-2. McCroskey from Evendorf.
Well, Syracuse needs some easy baskets right here. You know, the opportunity to extend the zone, to be able to get their hands on a few and get out in transition. Takes a lot of pressure off their half court.
High screen from Sapp to try to free up Cook. Syracuse has been in the 2-3 the entire game. They do come out of it once in a while, the staple of their defense. The 3 from the corner. Green follows his own miss. Hibbert comes up with a loose ball. And McCroskey somewhat inadvertently commits his second foul. Georgetown leading by 7. Time now for a SportsCenter 30 at 30 update. Here's Reese Davis.
Actually, Dave Refson here. Dan, World Baseball Classic to update you on. First, Ken Griffey Jr. in the U.S. advancing junior 2 3-run homers. The Americans pound South Africa 17-0. Had to invoke the mercy rule. The U.S. faces Japan in the second round Sunday. And JJ 9 of 17, 25 points. Duke got a battle, but beat Miami by 4 in the ACC quarters. Highlights, SportsCenter at 11, ESPN News, anytime. Back to the Garden next.
Long John Silver's has some exciting news you're going to love. It's a fast food first.
New buttered lobster bites. Rich, real Langostino lobster in a buttery breading. Try them as a combo only at Long John.
Here below the line, watch Jeff Green come into that space. And once he gets there, his job really is to turn and read this guy. And you have a guy that's open right underneath. He's going to turn, read, and he beats the defender before he gets there. And Roy Hibbert does the rest. You need a guy in that sweet spot who is adept at hitting that shot if the middle guy doesn't come up on him, and who's able to pass the ball with accuracy if he does come up.
And it's, I guess, an added bonus, Len, that guy's 6'9". Jeff Green can see over a lot of defenders that a lot of guys who tend to go to that sweet spot might not be able to.
Absolutely, and that's why you see Georgetown either have Hibbert or Green in that position, using their side.
Again, the extra pass. Green pulls up from the elbow, knew he missed it, so he follows it aggressively, and another offensive rebound for the Hoyas.
Boy, so smart, so athletic. It's a tough combination to play against.
And again, even though Green is not scoring tonight, he is doing so many other things. The guy who is scoring is Jonathan Wallace. He's got 8.
Well, Georgetown just feasting off of second chance opportunities and getting the ball inside. We talked about precise execution. That's what they're all about.
McCroskey on the drive all the way to the rim. Second bucket of the night for McCroskey, who actually left the team for a week about 5 weeks ago after a dispute over playing time following a game against Rutgers. Didn't like his lack of minutes, got really upset, took some time off, missed a game, and has evidently come back with a better attitude. Darrell Owens knocks his second 3.
Well, again, Louis McCroskey, very talented, just needs to understand where the opportunities come. I think that's where he had his difficulties. So concerned about shooting jumpers instead of becoming a basketball player.
Let's bring in Mark Jones with more.
Yeah, guys, when he left the team for that week, he ended up coming back and playing a game here against St. John's at Madison Square Garden. He didn't think he was going to play. It was so bad he told his parents not even to come to the game to watch. But surprisingly, he got into that contest and realized that maybe it was about time to turn the corner, saying, I'm thankful the way he is and that he let me redeem myself and that the team let me redeem myself, which he seems to be doing, guys.
Yeah,
back to you.
All right, Mark, thank you. Sounds like a lesson learned by McCroskey, who's a junior and started the first 5 games of the season, then lost his starting job to Eric Devendorf, and obviously as the minutes dwindled, struggled with that, but Jim Boeheim gave the young man another opportunity.
And that's Jim Boeheim. I mean, all he cares about is his kids and their development. And he knows that Louis McCroskey is young, and that was an immature thing to do. And again, I guess as you move on in this career, you start to understand what a little kindness McCroskey thus far.
Hibbert baseline, just too big.
Well, too big, but also excellent footwork. Again, you see Hibbert set up in that zone. He was fouled on the last one because he made a couple of titanic moves that got everybody off their feet.
Demetrius Nichols a little bit too deep. He's had the hot hand, but that one was way out there. Syracuse down 10 to Georgetown in the first of 2 Big East semifinals tonight here on ESPN. Hibbert trying to back down Watkins, a great shot blocker. And 3 seconds is the call on the Hoyas.
Well, that time Syracuse obviously looking to double and triple and force Hibbert to give it up. And Hibbert just took a little bit of time to find people. And if you're John Thompson III, you don't really mind that because you know what his intentions were.
And these two teams trying to get to the championship game tomorrow night. The Big East Championship presented by Aeropostale, 8 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night, right here on ESPN from the Garden. The Orange trying to defend their title from a year ago. And if Darrell Watkins gets shot.
And also if Jerry McNamara keeps penetrating, and that's what it's all about. That looks like the Syracuse against UConn. McNamara penetrating, forcing the help, and then finding his bigs.
Jerry McNamara, by the end of the night, will probably pass Pearl Washington for 3rd on Syracuse's assist list and will pass Hakeem Warwick for 4th on their scoring list. Devendorf steps into the 3. The Hoya bench wanted to travel, but they've got the ball back anyway.
And I'm not so sure if I'm Jerry. I know you want to distribute the ball. Working for me, and rather than pull up and give a guy a shot to take the 3, I'd continue to penetrate, get my big guys involved, maybe get the big guys for Georgetown a little bit of foul trouble.
Devendorf 0 for 4 from the floor tonight. Green steps in and draws the foul. We will step aside. It's an 8-point lead for the Hoyas, trying to make a name for themselves and get to the championship game.
Let's go.
On Selection Sunday, who's in?
That is going to be the most compelling region.
Who's out?
That is not fair.
Dive into the brackets with Reese, Digger, Jay, and Dickie V. Bracketology, Sunday beginning at 5 on ESPN.
The journey begins on Selection Monday. From the tournament draw,
I think this is a very dangerous team,
to the final buzzer.
NCAA champion.
We'll take you there. Women's Basketball Selection Special, Monday at 7 on ESPN.
Hey, nice Harley.
Yeah. Had to get it, you know? It's great. It's the way I live my life, you know, by my own rules. Well, that's my creed or motto. My credo, you know?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like to live like by the edge of my... Can you believe the crime in this town? It's crazy. It's like broad daylight right in front of us. It's like, hello, it's my bike, miss.
Maybe you should get your own.
Dentine Ice straight up? Or new Dentine Ice White? Why not try both? Watch what happens next. Get free gum at Dentine.com.
Terms and conditions apply.
You don't win a marathon in the first 100 meters. Success comes from weathering the challenges and going the distance, regardless of the conditions. We believe long-term investing is a basic principle that can help you realize your financial objectives. It's the right way to invest.
Carefully consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. Call your advisor for a prospectus with this and other fund information. Read it carefully before investing.
When you want to get away,
Let's go, girls!
Enterprise Rent-A-Car will pick you up free and get you on your way. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Dave Reps and Tom Brennan in the studio coming up on the 7-Up halftime report. Some 1 seeds getting all they could handle today. Well, one so far.
Interesting game, David. I think the idea that Syracuse needs to play on great emotion, that's what's gotten them this far. But the game has been dulled down, even dulled me down a little bit. And you know how excited I am about this stuff. So I just feel like Georgetown is right where they want to be right now.
Let's get you caught up on a couple other games going on right now. Kansas on top of Oklahoma State in the Big 12, and Minnesota giving the 2-seed Iowa battle in the Big 10, Dan.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. One of the greats, one of the all-time great guards in Syracuse history, Pearl Washington, is in the house tonight. They're the orange now as Pearl looks on. D.C., Derek Coleman is in the house. Until last night, he had played more minutes as a Syracuse player than anybody in their history. Jerry McNamara now holds that distinction. Some great players who have played under Jim Boeheim in his 30 years as head coach at Syracuse. By the way, they have changed that last foul. They called it on Demetrius Nichols. It has been changed, and rightly so, as we looked at a replay during the break. It's McCroskey's third instead of Nichols' third. But Nichols probably a more valuable performer, a bigger scorer, so Syracuse wanted to set the record straight. McCroskey now with 3, Nichols with 2.
Yeah, this is a point in time again. Jerry McNamara looks as though he's not suffering from that groin twinge. He's got to get a little bit more runs down if in fact he gets to that point. It's got to be him and not Devendorf.
Devendorf with a travel. Jim Boeheim's going to take him out of the game. Going to take somebody out of the game as Nichols.
It's Devendorf.
Yeah, Nichols coming back in.
And again, that leaves McNamara now to run the point.
Is it McCroskey? No, it's McCroskey who's going out, and
I saw Nichols point to Devendorf.
Yeah, it looked like it.
And maybe Jim Boeheim changed his mind.
McCroskey getting the business end of a Boeheim lecture right now on the bench. Let's go to Mark Jones.
I got home a few moments ago. I asked him about his favorite moment in this tournament. He says he goes back to a game against Pittsburgh when he blocked a Ryan Shorter dunk, which led to a Syracuse victory as Georgetown knocks down another shot. I asked him about his head coach, Jim Boeheim. He said that, you know, they retired my jersey just a few weeks ago, and I'm still thanking the same wonderful people that were here when I was here at Syracuse. And by the way, he bought his coach, Boeheim, a Rolex watch for his induction to the Hall of Fame, and got one for Bernie Fine for this tournament, guys.
Very nice. Well, Bernie Fine works with the big guys and has for a long, long time. He's been alongside Jim Boeheim up at Syracuse. They have been a great tandem, the associate head coach of the Orange.
See, Bernie had to do a little study, and he looked like he was a point guard in his day. He had to study those big man tapes.
Devendorf, left hand. And he's taken some questionable shots here tonight. Georgetown out to their largest lead of the night as we move into the last couple of minutes. Shortly, we'll check in at the next opportunity, and this time you can be sure it's Devendorf who's coming out.
Well, the reason is Devendorf on penetration, he's looking for his. He's not looking to create for other guys. And yes, he's a scorer, but at this point in time, Syracuse has got to get their front line involved.
Double team on Hibbert. It forces a turnover. McNamara the look ahead to Devendorf. And he will shoot a couple of free throws.
Again, steals out of the zone. Syracuse very good at running the floor, and Devendorf got out in front of everybody.
Devendorf, a very talented freshman, actually picked by Big East coaches preseason to be the Rookie of the Year in the Big East, an honor that went to Dominic James of Marquette, and deservedly so during the season. McNamara sits down, and a look of frustration on his face. McCroskey getting set to check back in, and he'll come in, and now he'll come out. So Jim Boeheim shuttling his guards in and out.
Well, again, it's also a recognition that this is the third game in 3 nights. And, you know, his guys, obviously, with that monumental win against UConn, they're obviously going to be a bit tired. And recognizing that this may come down to the last 5-8 minutes of this game, he wants to make sure he's got some fresh legs down the stretch in the second half.
Both of these teams playing for the 3rd time in as many nights, as will Pittsburgh later on. The higher 4 games yesterday in the quarterfinals. Again, look at the passing. The floater by Wallace.
That is just amazing. They have spread the zone with their passing, spread it so wide that the middle is like a vault at a big bank, man. All you got to do is just walk in and cash in.
Len, 12 field goals, 10 assists tonight for the Hoyas. In there with the big fellas, and it's turned over. That was nice anticipation by Cook to get down to the baseline. And again, Georgetown very deliberate, a much different style than they played under Big John Thompson. This team first in the Big East in field goal percentage, second last in offensive rebounding. Back in the day, their offense was throw it up on the rim and go get it. Timeout, JT3. Well, take us through this ball movement, Len.
Well, again, it comes down to just getting it back on the perimeter. The little bit of penetration forces the defense to kind of extend the diagonal passes to the point where, again, look how extended the zone is. And Wallace just walks right into the middle with nobody impeding his progress. Just terrific ball movement that stretched this zone to its limits.
Georgetown coming off a 4-point win over Notre Dame, then a 3-point win over Marquette. They are the number 5 seed in this tournament. Syracuse the number 9. Trying to get to the final just like Pittsburgh and Villanova will in our next game at 9 Eastern right here on ESPN. The Big East Championship semifinal number 2 presented by Aeropostale. Villanova held a 1-point lead last night over Rutgers at halftime. Won by 32 points. Pittsburgh gets full marks for coming back from a double-digit deficit against West Virginia to earn a trip into the semifinals.
I'll tell you, both of those teams hungersome. You know, one is a little bit smoother, but the other gets the job done with scrappiness, and we're talking about Villanova and Pittsburgh respectively.
Shot clock turned off. The Orange could hold for the final shot. McNamara on the bench. Josh Rank, the quarterback right now for the Orange, into the final 10 seconds. And a lob inside for Nichols, who wasn't looking. He was setting a screen to try and free up Watkins, and Roberts tried to throw a pass into it.
Well, you blame it on the passer. You should never pass the ball to a teammate that's not looking at you. You got to be able to see at least his eyes, or really you see the numbers on the front of his jersey.
5 seconds. Cook's going to get a look. And buries a 3 in the final second. What a great first 20 minutes of basketball for the Georgetown Hoyas. And what a frustrating first half for Jim Boeheim and the Syracuse.
Well, they certainly did. Again, it's the unselfishness. Terrence Roberts getting there late, and as he walked off, Jim Boeheim had a few words for him. wondering where he was at that particular point in time. Guys got the ball with a wide open jumper.
Georgetown 7 first-half threes in 13 attempts, a 15-point lead on the Orange as we send it to Mark Jones with John Thompson.
Coach, 11 assists on 13 field goals. What's been the key to your offensive efficiency here in the first half?
Well, they're in the zone, so we have to bip it around a little bit. And our guys have done a good job around. We have to make sure we stop their transition. They're getting too many easy looks in transition.
You've been able to keep Jerry McNamara in check. How?
I don't know. And you're not going to be able to do that for 40 minutes. He's too good of a player. He's too determined. So we've been fortunate this first half, but we still have to stay focused on him because he can and has exploded in the past.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. An impressive first half for the Georgetown Hoyas. They're up by 15. It is time now for the 7-Up halftime report. Let's go back to the studio. Dave Refson and Tom Brennan.
Okay, thank you very much, Dan. We might have been here, Tom. I mean, Syracuse playing the overtime game yesterday. 16 teams have played overtime games in Big East tournament history. None of them have ever come back to win the next day, and obviously Syracuse a lot of work to do.
Yeah, they're in trouble right now. Obviously, the fact that Georgetown has assisted 11 times on 13 baskets, that's amazing, and the fact they're passing the ball so well, just wearing Syracuse down. I really believe, the game's 40 minutes, obviously, but I like Georgetown right now.
So a bit of an unexpected deep run, though, to this point for Syracuse in the Big East, and emulate that in the ACC as we check out some highlights from earlier today. Wake taking on NC State, and Cameron Stanley finishes with the jam. Wake on a 20-2 run, and they just dominated this game from start to finish, TB.
It's amazing, my man. They won 3 all year. They won 2 in 2 days. I mean, where you been?
This is the team everyone expected to see from Wake Forest all year. Chris receiving end of the alley-oop jam. 82-71. Wake Forest a winner.
All of a sudden, Duke-Wake Forest should be a real interesting ball game.
Well, now you've given away the results of this highlight.
I'm sorry.
You know, we're trying to hold the people in suspense. Miami and Duke.
My bad.
Guillermo Diaz, I'm just giving you the business. He hits the three. Number 1 seed hasn't won this tourney since 2000. Coach K was a little bit concerned, 41-35, but as expected, Tom, the Dukies took over.
They did, and J.J. Redick had a wonderful game. Wasn't too tired today, got it going, and that's what great ones do. They make big plays, and he's done it his whole career. No reason to believe he couldn't do it again.
9 of 17 today for Redick. Robert Height did have a chance to tie it up here for Miami. Obviously not quite the look they were hoping for. 80-76. Duke does survive. North Carolina, Virginia going on right now. Boston College and Maryland. The other quarterfinals begin. It's Duke and Wake Forest through the semis.
I think that the Boston College-Maryland game will be interesting. Maryland's kind of making themselves into something to play for here, so that's going to be an interesting game. Plus, they beat BC already.
Lots more to come on the 7-Up halftime report. We will peek in on the Badgers running into a red-hot Hoosiers team. Could Indiana keep it going? For Mike Davis, that and much more coming up.
This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, 100% reason to remember the name.
You know, everybody's going to remember the name of what he's done the first couple of games in this tournament, but right now nobody on Syracuse is really lighting it up. Georgetown with a 15-point lead, shooting the ball very well, passing the ball beautifully. Syracuse really struggling. Len Elmore's going to show you some good things Georgetown's done at both ends of the floor.
Well, this is a clinic in ball movement against the zone, inside out, east west. And that's really resulted in some wide open looks, particularly for the guards. Syracuse, after Jeff Green in the first game had 18 points, decided they were going to adjust and try to collapse a little bit, but obviously open looks for the guards. And defensively, just doing a nice job on Jerry McNamara, really playing him physically now, not allowing him many opportunities to come off the screens. And it's kind of frustrating McNamara. I expect Syracuse really to start going man-to-man. You take a look at what McNamara's done today after the first 2 games, and he's been bothered obviously by the groin injury, but also by the defense of Georgetown. Syracuse has got to go man right now, even though they're playing zone. Georgetown just too long, moving the ball at will.
McNamara, for those who weren't with us, missed 8 minutes in the first half, sat down for a 6-minute stretch early, and then the last 2 minutes of the half. So he played only 12 of the 20 minutes after playing 80 of 85 minutes in their first 2 games here in New York. Shot clock under 10. Not a problem for Georgetown, and not something they are unaccustomed to. It'll be Cook, and he got it up off the rim. Was called, took an extra step before he got up in the air. Let's go to Mark Jones.
Well, Lenny, you talked about Syracuse going into a man-to-man defense, and I spoke with their coaches during the halftime break. They said that they weren't happy with their success or lack thereof in the man defense. They have to be more active in the zone and give up much fewer than the 7 threes they gave up in the first half. Offensively, meanwhile, they talked about being more patient and looking for a good first 5 minutes here. They want to get the lead to at least down to 10 points with 10 minutes to go in the game.
Well, I'll tell you what, if they don't go man, Georgetown with this comfort level, they continue to stretch the defense, and to a point, the ball movement's so good that the zone loses its form and creates opportunity.
3 seconds to call on Georgetown, so back-to-back turnovers. The other problem about trying to make up a deficit against the Hoyas is the game is shortened because their possessions tend to run pretty much close to 35 seconds because they use the clock with all those passes.
And the way you shake that, obviously, is you got to get up and play man, and you got to really pressure the ball and not sit back. To learn that against Vermont in the tournament last year, they had a difficult time coming back because they never did come out and pressure and extend.
Coach Brennan back in the studio, smiling right now, I would think, at the memory that you just provided.
Tommy deserves that one. That was one of the more terrific triumphs of underdogs in that tournament history.
McNamara, a deep three. And it'll go out of bounds to the Hoyas. Syracuse good offensively at times against Cincinnati and Connecticut. They have looked anything but. And in the regular season meeting just a couple of weeks ago with Georgetown, Syracuse scored only 53 points. McNamara was held to 8. And Georgetown smothered the Orange, much like they are here tonight.
Now, we talked about the assists. And at the half, 11 assists on 13 field goals for Georgetown. They only had 9 total against Marquette yesterday. And a lot of that was because Marquette played an awful lot of man-to-man and forced one-on-one situations.
And Jim Boeheim will come out if necessary. He'll even extend three-quarter full-court pressure every now and again if he feels it's necessary. But it hasn't happened yet here tonight.
Well, 3 straight trips now. Georgetown come up empty. And maybe Jim Boeheim knows what he's talking about. He's only in the Hall of Fame.
Nichols off a screen, misses the floater in the lane. And again, Georgetown deliberate. They'll reset, use the clock, pass it around, and look for a high percentage shot. The Hoya Big East Championship since 1989. They haven't even been to the final since 1996. Hard to believe the last time the Hoyas were in the Big East Tournament final, Allen Iverson was a member of the team. That guy, of course, was stalking the sideline.
You remember that monumental game Iverson against Ray Allen in the championship? There's a new sheriff in town. That's really what it's all about. He brought a new philosophy and brought in his type of players.
6-time tournament in the first 10 years of the Big East Championship. 6 times with UConn for the most. Georgetown will be going to the NCAA tournament this year. They haven't done that in 5 years. So in many respects, this is the best year Georgetown has had in 5 or 6 years.
That man never relaxes. Big John.
Big John.
Arms crossed.
You know, neither does Jim Boeheim, neither does Jim Calhoun. The great ones don't know how to relax. That's part of what makes them great.
On guard.
Well, we had a long drought at the beginning of the game before either team scored, over 3 minutes. Nobody has scored yet here in the second half.
That's one pass too many.
Matt Gorman has checked in here early in the second half for Syracuse, as he did in the first half, again for Roberts. A 3 for McNamara. And McNamara's band and the rest of the Syracuse fans coming to life a little.
And again, Georgetown may be overpassing a bit. Guys getting the ball in the paint, not willing to power up. Instead, looking for another pass. And that leads, obviously, to Syracuse in transition. And when they're in transition, they're very good.
Devendorf. And a good start here, a 5-0 run in the last minute for Syracuse to cut it down to 10. First points of the night for Eric Devendorf. And again, the building louder now than it's been at any point tonight. There are more Syracuse fans than there are Georgetown fans, it would appear. Hibbert, the extra pass to Green. Owens right back into Hibbert, right back to Green. And a block by Matt Gorman. And a foul committed by the Hoyas. It'll be Hibbert.
Again, we talk about Syracuse in transition, creating turnovers, getting rebounds. And this is what really defense is right there. McNamara's ability to hit the three in transition. And then the next time down, Devendorf, much better at slashing to the basket.
4 minutes in, Georgetown hasn't scored this half. Syracuse has got a 15-point halftime deficit, down to 10. Devendorf, little back door to McNamara, extra pass to Watkins, and he's fouled. Syracuse taking a page out of the Georgetown playbook right there. We're headed to a break as the Orange have cut it down to 10. Championship Week update when we come back.
The best golf in the world, the 2006 PGA Tour on ESPN.
If only the whole world worked like the all-new Kia Sedona, with memory control seats, DVD player, and 13-speaker Infinity sounds state-of-the-art. The completely redesigned Kia Sedona.
Merry Christmas, Grandma and Grandpa!
But it's August. I use my credit card miles. They blacked out the good weeks. While we're at it, happy Thanksgiving. Dibs on the drumstick, old man. Oh, and happy birthdays.
Yippee.
Put your Halloween costumes on while Mommy hides Easter eggs. Hey, you're looking good. Gonna cook that?
For easy-to-use rewards, get Capital One no-hassle rewards with no blackouts on any airline anytime.
Dad, I'm hot.
Yeah, we're...
Genius needs a Capital One card.
What's in your wallet?
Dave Rebs from the Sports Center in-game update in the Big Ten. Number 2 seed Iowa getting a battle from the 10 seed Minnesota. Jeff Horner hitting there for the Hawkeyes. He has 24. Iowa on top by just 6. It's 55-49. Virginia giving North Carolina all it can handle. Wes Miller 11 at the half for the Tar Heels. It's a 5-point lead. And Glenn Davis 14 for LSU. They lead Vandy late in the first. Dan.
All right, Dave. Forest with a win over North Carolina State to advance to the semifinals of the ACC. They've got a date with top-ranked Duke, or top-seeded, number 1 seeded Duke tomorrow. Wake Forest winning 2 games in the tournament already. Here in New York at the Big East Championship, teams who have won in overtime, as Syracuse did yesterday, have never, and I mean never, won the next game. They're 0-16.
Well, I tell you, a lot of people might think that it's obviously physically draining, an extra 5 minutes out of you, but I think it's more the emotional drain.
Well, he missed the free throws, but he got the dunk, so it all comes out in the wash, I guess. Darrell Watkins with 6. Syracuse within 8. A 7-0 run here in the second half.
And a little bit of breakdown now by Georgetown. Not scoring on one end and then not doing the little things on the other and blocking out. We got to find a way to kind of pull it back together.
Bowman right now in the middle of the zone. Hibbert is not in the game around on the baseline, so it's not a huge Georgetown lineup. Green steps up to the free throw line and knocks down the jumper.
And he steps up, no question about it, in a need situation. And again, we talk about Jeff Green and his ability on that sweet spot, particularly around the free throw line. Can hit that jumper, can find people down low.
That's his first field goal of the night. He had 18 points in the win over Syracuse a couple of weeks ago. Nowhere to go for Devendorf.
Good job by Wallace to keep Devendorf again from turning the corner, going to his left.
Kamara being defended by Ashanti Cook, who guarded him for the most part in that win by Georgetown a couple of weeks ago, and for the most part shut him down. Watkins, no. Rebound Wallace.
And Watkins on that roll, he's got to go all the way to the basket. That's his job. He can elevate over guys and draw fouls, not settle for the jumper.
Darrell Owens gets the open look. Right out to Wallace. No look to Bowman for the slam.
Oh, that's playing together, folks. Intentionally tipping it out to your teammate who already sized up the situation with Bowman down low.
McNamara, no look to Gorman for the slam. The answer by the Orange. Right, Matt Gorman getting some big minutes tonight.
Right back at you, Jerry McNamara once again. He knew exactly where everybody was on the floor.
And that assist land ties Jerry McNamara with Pearl Washington, who you just saw on Syracuse's all-time list. And again, McNamara could pass Hakeem Warwick tonight for 4th on the scoring list. Needs only 3 more points. Number 1 is in the house. Lawrence Moten said hello at halftime. Syracuse's all-time leading scorer. Here's Bowman. Old school, huh?
Lefty and righty. We saw him with a terrific lefty hook a game or 2 ago, and now right-handed. Very fundamentally sound, and you obviously need that playing against a SAF 2-3.
And great balance scoring by the Hoyas as always. Eric Devendorf with a long 2. 4 on the night for Devendorf. Syracuse has it down to 10. You heard Mark Jones say one of their goals was to get it inside 10 with 10 minutes to go. They're there now. If they can keep their momentum going, they're playing much better now than they did in the first half. That's tough, man. Though. That's tough. Bowman on the baseline.
Hey, you talk about smooth as creamery butter.
Folks. Number 5 seed coming in, ranked 23rd in the nation, 21-8 on the year. Nichols the pull-up, little strong. Gorman the rebound.
Boy, Gorman giving him big lift.
McNamara giving him a lift. His 3 moves him past Hakeem Warwick. As mentioned, into 4th on the all-time scoring list, and more importantly, gets it under 10.
And when you have that ability to hit that quick 3, Gorman on the offensive rebound, kicked it to McNamara immediately. Defense never.
Gorman out of Watertown, New York, giving Jim Boeheim some good minutes. That will go to the arrow, which will give it to Syracuse, as the pendulum feels like it's starting to swing toward Syracuse.
And Jerry McNamara right in the middle of it, creating for others, and then they reciprocate. Could McNamara be back to form? We'll see.
Let's go, girls.
Enterprise Rent-A-Car will pick you up free and get you on your way. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Last night I turned into a dog.
Honey?
Then I turned back into being human.
The Shaggy Dog is wonderfully hilarious and full of non-stop laughs.
Shit. I meant the dog.
The Shaggy Dog, rated PG, now playing.
If you were going to be with one of my friends, who would it be?
Hair and body wash from Old Spice.
Tell me, I'm not going to be mad. I'm just curious.
The easiest way to get clean from head to toe. Don't you wish everything was this easy?
Man, you got to try this grilled pineapple sauce.
Try to Kung Pao.
Make way for CJ. Don't mind if I do.
That was the Kung Pao sauce for my strength.
Dip into flavor in a whole new way with Friday's new Flavor Shots Grill. Everyone could use more Fridays.
How's business?
We got new cars for our execs. What do you got?
We've got a secure network. We don't have to check.
Company barbecues?
Secure network. We commingle 24/7.
Yoga. Stress reduction.
Secure network. No stress. Check.
Espresso bar.
Checkmate.
Check.
Confidence, powered by Cisco.
If only the whole world worked like the all-new Kia Sedona. With world-class comfort, convenience, and safety, it truly is state-of-the-art. The completely redesigned Kia Sedona.
Interesting developments right now in the Big 12. Kansas had a big lead over Oklahoma State, but it is Brown, part of that great Cowboys recruiting class, gets the layup, pokes, playing for Sean Sutton, on top by 1 at 35-34. And Iowa leads Minnesota 59-51. Final 3 minutes in the Big 10. If events warrant, we'll take you to either one of those games live. Dan?
Dave, thank you. Looking on and getting ready for his game tonight on the right, the Big East Player of the Year, Randy Foye. Villanova and Pittsburgh coming up in our second semifinal tonight. The Big East Championship presented by Aeropostale from Madison Square Garden. Villanova and Pittsburgh should be great. Is getting closer and closer. Syracuse down 15 at the break, down 9 right now. Jerry McNamara just hit a 3. And the Orange with a spark here. Remember, they're the defending Big East Tournament champions. Defeated West Virginia in the final last year. McNamara, another clean look, left it a little short.
Well, again, better execution by Syracuse in their half court, giving McNamara an upward screen, curl, and a quick hitter. And that's where he's most dangerous.
We should remind folks, no team in the Big East history has ever won the tournament having to play 4 games. Both of these teams, if one of them is going to get to the final and will play its 4th game tomorrow. Cook struggling for the basketball and got a timeout call.
Well, you got to know which way the arrow's pointing. And the arrow's pointing in Georgetown's favor, so you fall on a loose ball, stay there, and let the officials call the hell ball.
It is a timeout for the Hoyas. They're up by 9. We'll be back to the Garden after this.
Excuse me, are you still relying on your broker for investment ideas?
Got an alternative? I'm listening.
Are you kidding? Who's got time to do it yourself?
I invest for myself at TD Waterhouse. They make it easy to come up with my own investment ideas.
With tools like their stock screeners, TD Waterhouse helps you find investment ideas in the time it takes to make a cup of coffee. You can do this. Switch to the alternative to higher-priced brokers.
On Selection Sunday, who's in?
That is going to be the most compelling region.
Who's out?
That is not fair.
Dive into the brackets with Reese, Digger, Jay, and Dickie V. Bracketology, Sunday beginning at 5 on ESPN.
The journey begins on Selection Monday. From the tournament draw,
I think this is a very dangerous team,
to the final buzzer.
NCAA champion.
We'll take you there. Special Monday at 7 on ESPN.
I love Leaf and Wendell.
Spectacular clearance prices on all remaining 05 Kias. 05 Kia Sedonas save up to $7,500. An 05 Kia Sportage only $14,290 or $245 a month. Save thousands off MSRP. Everyone with Kia's 100,000-mile total protection package. Come to Leaf in Wendell. Leaf, the name you can trust.
It may start with a look. It may start with a sound. It may start with the feel. It may start with the drive. Or it may just start with the price. The new 2006 C230 Sport Sedan, starting at $29,975. How will it start for you?
Well, as all college hoop fans know, a little bit earlier this week, Jim Boeheim somewhat angrily came to the defense of Jerry McNamara after there was a column in the student newspaper in Syracuse and then an anonymous poll of assistant coaches in the Big East in the city paper, the Post-Standard, saying that McNamara is an overrated player. Of course, he has made games here in the Big East tournament. You look at his all-time ranks on the Syracuse list, first in this, second in that, third in that, and Jim Boeheim has as much affection and respect for Jerry McNamara as any player he has coached at Syracuse.
And he certainly should. I mean, obviously, you have to look at the big game situation where he's come alive. But if you look at his career shooting, a career 38% field goal shooter, 35% three-point shooter. If you subscribe to the 40-60 rule, he's from 3. And in the end, you add that with his field goal shooting, he's shooting 45% and higher.
Right on.
And higher.
I have this vague memory of 6 threes in the first half of the national championship game against Kansas and a 43-point game in the tournament against BYU. And
I mean, you got to look beyond the stats. People look at that under 40% in both field goal and three-point field goal and think, well, that's not so good.
I think Jim Boeheim made the point. Bowman is fouled from behind. I believe it is going to be Nichols. Jerry McNamara last time down the floor, another three, his 395th career three, 6th on the all-time NCAA list.
And so good at squaring up to receive the pass. His feet are ready. And so all he's got to do is catch and then the quick release. And it doesn't matter where he is on the floor. And quite honestly, it doesn't matter whether it's a pass or off the bounce. And that's what makes him so deadly, particularly in situations. Obviously, that also is a tribute to fine conditioning.
That last foul was on Demetrius Nichols, his 3rd. Bowman knocks down the 1st. He's having a good game. Well, if you want to assess the value that McNamara has to Syracuse in the games against Cincinnati and Connecticut, was there any doubt who was going to have the ball and who was going to take the shot in the last second of each of those 2 games? He's feeling it. He's feeling it. $14 for McNamara, 12 in the second half. And the Orange are back within 4. And McNamara's band is now the loudest group here in this building, whether they're from Syracuse or Scranton or somewhere in between. Jeff Green. And another offensive rebound.
And that's how Georgetown is going to have to hold off Syracuse. They're having some trouble scoring. They've got to create extra opportunities for themselves, put the pressure back on the defense.
The zone looks more active for the Orange here in the second half. Blocked. And Jeff Green with the bucket. John Thompson wants another timeout. Again, the Hoyas dominating around the rim, trying to offset what Jerry McNamara is doing for Syracuse.
Well, McNamara is really utilizing the screens well. Here he is right here. Screen is coming down to be set. And if you watch, there's no help. There's the screen. He comes off. Nobody steps up to help Ashanti Cook. And he comes off wide, too. It's almost a staggered screen. And he uses both guys. No one steps out. And you can expect Georgetown to start to adjust to that. But no one better and quicker than Jerry McNamara to curl and catch and shoot.
This is the first of 2 semifinals from the Big East Championship presented by Aeropostale. We are here with the World Square Garden, the host of the Big East Championship for the 24th consecutive season. With Len Elmore and Mark Jones, I'm Dan Shulman. And Syracuse has gotten right back into this game on the strength of who else? Jerry McNamara lighting it up from outside here in the second half. He knows his team's going to the NCAA tournament now, but he'd like to defend the Big East tournament title that they won last year. Matt Gorman again getting good minutes and making good things happen.
Well, that time Georgetown, Gorman came down the screen. The man guarding him, Bowman, just stayed outside to take McNamara away. But good look as far as deciding on options and getting it into Gorman, because once you switch, the guy who's setting the screen, if he rolls back to the ball, he's going to be open.
Gorman getting most of Terrence Roberts' minutes here in this game tonight. And Roberts has been terrific in the first couple of games in this tournament. 16 points, 9 rebounds against Cincinnati. 16 points, 7 rebounds against Connecticut. Robert sitting right beside his head coach and has been for quite a while.
And Jim Boeheim is going to push Matt Gorman, get as much as he can out of him, but also having Roberts next to him allows Roberts to gain some perspective. How is Gorman getting open? What is he doing? And if he can absorb that, he'll be that much more effective when he gets on the floor.
Hibbert not in the game for Georgetown.
Bad pass.
Steal by Nichols. And called on Jesse Sapp, who's hopping mad, thinking he just deflected the ball out of bounds.
Well, John Thompson III obviously doesn't agree. And that looked like basically a fumble. Nichols brought it into the face of the defender. You know, it wasn't a reach. The ball was brought right into the face of the defender and knocked loose.
And it'll go not only as a foul, but a shooting foul, as Nichols was on his way up in the opinion of the officials. So Demetrius Nichols heads to the line for 2. Tomorrow night here on ESPN, Championship Week presented by 7-Up. It'll be the championship game from New York. The Big East Championship presented by Aeropostale. The winner of this game against the winner of Villanova and Pittsburgh, our second semifinal, which can be seen following this one tonight right here on ESPN. Big night of basketball, and as always, it'll be a big, loud Saturday night in the Garden tomorrow.
It's a big, loud Friday night right now. The Syracuse faithful have stepped up their noise, and town folks here trying to make themselves heard, urging their team. Let's try and score a little bit.
Yesterday, Syracuse had a big lead on Connecticut, let it get away, then won in overtime. Tonight, Syracuse was down 15 at the half, and they've roared back within 3, and the Hoyas continue to burn their timeouts.
Well, the reason for the comeback all begins with Jerry McNamara really giving his team a boost. Some quick hitters in transition, a couple that, and then obviously in the half court using staggered screens to get himself open. And again, it really turns his team up, gets the amps up a little bit, and these guys all start performing for him. You look at the tale of two halves. First half, McNamara took a lot of rest, obviously, to try to save himself for the second half, hoping his team didn't get too far down in a hole where he couldn't rescue them.
And as much a constant as Jerry McNamara nailing threes is his parents are here in the building tonight. His dad, Jerry, his mom, Joyce, are here. They come to every single grant. For more, let's go to Mark Jones.
Well, because of the ticket situation, Dan, they weren't able to get half of Scranton in the building tonight. But they did tell me before the game that in light of the controversy, it may have come out a little bit of a little harsh in the way that Coach Boeheim defended their son. That it may. That it made them feel very warm about where he is and the love that his coach has for him, the way that he defends. Back to you guys.
All right, Mark, thank you. Darrell Owens misses the three. Well, one of the reasons McNamara went to Syracuse was to stay close enough to home so people could see him play. And they have in droves as Darrell Watkins hustles down the floor, follows up the miss. And Syracuse is within a point in a game in which they have never led.
Again, Georgetown's jumpers just aren't falling. They're going to have to find a better way to unleash some off-ball in the sweet spots, but then it comes down to making decisions from there.
Hibbert is back inland. Green is on the bench right now. Let's see if they try to get the big guy involved. There it is. And instead of the pass, it's the jump hook.
Well, if you can spread the floor and get Hibbert in a one-on-one situation with Watkins, you let Hibbert work. There's him. That's McNamara off that pick.
That ball was deflected out of bounds. Good call by Reggie Greenwood. It'll stay with Syracuse as we go to immediate. Georgetown by 3 over Syracuse. Time now for a SportsCenter 30 at 30 update. Here's Dave Revson.
Thank you, Dan. The U.S. needed a win in a big way to stave off elimination in the World Baseball Classic, and they got it. Ken Griffey Jr., 2 3-run homers. The Americans pound South Africa 17-0. Had to invoke the mercy rule, so the Americans face Japan Sunday. J.J. Redick breaking out of his shooting slump, 9 of 17, 25 points. Duke got a battle, beat Miami, though, by 4 in the ACC quarters. Game, ESPN News anytime. We'll get you back out to the Garden next.
7-Up Plus with calcium. With a burst of real fruit juice, 10% of your daily calcium, and only 10 calories per serving. It's one thing strong women everywhere can't get enough of.
Manager to the front.
7-Up Plus. For great, only way to go is up.
Love me or hate me. It's one or the other. Always has been. Hate my game, my swagger, hate my fadeaway, my hunger. Hate that I'm a veteran, a champion. Hate that. Hate it with all your heart. And hate that I'm loved for the exact same reasons.
Dentine. Or new Dentine Ice Wild Winter Soft Chew. Why not try both? Watch what happens next. Get free gum at Dentine.com.
Terms and conditions apply.
Long John Silver's has some exciting news you're going to love. It's a fast food first.
New buttered lobster bites. Rich, real Langostino lobster in a buttery breading. Try them as a combo now. Only at Long John Silver's.
Yar, genius. Presentation of Championship Week is presented by 7-Up. If you want 100% natural lemon and lime flavors, the only way to go is up.
Back here in New York, we got a game going right now. Syracuse has roared back into it. They've gotten within 3 of Georgetown. 7:34 to go here in a semifinal matchup of the Big East Championship presented by Aeropostal. Let's go cross court and join Mark Jones.
Yeah, guys, earlier today, interesting bit of news. The FBI nationally alerted national law enforcement to a recent internet posting regarding attacks aimed at college basketball arenas. Now, Greg Shaheen, the NCAA vice president, told ESPN.com a little bit earlier there had been no imminent threat, direct or specific, related to the NCAA championship. He also said that the FBI and Department of Homeland Security asked the NCAA to revisit its security plans. Guys, back to you.
All right, Mark. Thank you. Unfortunately, Len, a fact of life in the world in which we live, obviously. Nothing behind it, but good to know. Thank you, Mark.
It's all about vigilance. Can't give in to the threats, but we got to be vigilant.
Matt Gorman. Matt Gorman. Syracuse has tied the game at 49.
Well, you talk about getting some minutes out of Matt Gorman. Gorman averages about 10 minutes a game, only about 3 points a game. But he's come in and he's also stretched the defenses a little bit with that look.
Hibbert inside. McNamara falls down trying to get out to the wing. And a foul going against Syracuse. I believe it's going to be Devendorf as we go back to the other end.
And really, it's the activity of Jerry McNamara putting the ball on the floor, looking to penetrate, that froze the defense and allowed Gorman to step out uncontested.
Syracuse all the way back from a 15-point halftime game. And we've got another foul going against Syracuse, and it's Devendorf again, his second in about 10 seconds.
Well, if you're Georgetown, you know, this is a good start to climb back into the lead, putting pressure on the defense by ball dribble penetration.
Great interior passing, and look at the emotion on the big fella Hibbert, who fed Green down on the baseline.
Hey, both of these teams understand the opportunity in front of them. It's a nice job, Hibbert. Nice bounce pass. Holds the ball high, gets the defender's hands up in the air, and then slips the bounce pass down low. And again, you can't say enough about the interior passing of both of these teams, but particularly Georgetown and their big men. Big men aren't supposed to be able to drop bounce passes and pinpoint passes inside within 3 and 4 feet. They just don't do it.
Len fans will remember Georgetown defeated Duke earlier this year when they were #1. When Georgetown beat Syracuse a couple of weeks ago on Senior Day, as McNamara's 3, which John Thompson said the win over Syracuse was bigger than the win over Duke. And when he was asked why, he said, well, it's Syracuse. And the history of this rivalry, this is the rivalry that really helped build the Big East into what it has become.
And John Thompson III grew up on that rivalry, watching his father toil. So he has a firm understanding.
Jesse Sapp. Wide right on the 3. Rebound McNamara. Great look ahead. The follow is put back in by Devendorf. It's a 1-point game.
Well, first of all, give Sapp some credit. Shot the ball, hit the deck. Devendorf leaked out, and Sapp did a nice job of recovering. His teammates conceded the layup and got on their horses a little bit too late. They should have gotten a rebound there.
Green on the baseline, blocked from behind, but Hibbert there to put it home.
Boy, Darrell Watson's very active inside, making his presence felt, but there's no quit in Georgetown either.
On 100 blocks on the season, one of the highest totals in Syracuse history. Devendorf off the glass. 10 points for Devendorf. 8 of them here in the second half.
And here's where Georgetown's tempo control comes into play. Syracuse speeding the game up a little bit. Georgetown doesn't want and can't afford quick shots, allowing Syracuse to get out in transition.
Again, big-to-big passing and a push going against Syracuse. And Green really doing some nice things together.
Well, they played so well together on a high-low. Now here you saw Sapp on the deck, hustles back, gets a block, And then there was the miss, and Georgetown just didn't get there. And here's Devendorf once again putting it on the floor. We said best penetrator, best slasher that Syracuse has when you're looking to finish. But Devendorf looks for his shot for the most part rather than setting other people up, unlike Jerry McNamara.
Jeff Green at the line knocks down the first. He and Hibbert, the two big guys in the game, some of the best passing big men in the nation. Green, a 61% free throw shooter, one of the few holes in his game, but he swishes both of these.
I'll tell you, when you talk about the passing among big men, when you can run high, low, and block the block and recognize double teams and bounce it to your teammate, makes it so tough on the defense. Takes away double teams and allows you to go one-on-one eventually.
Devendorf being hounded by side again. Good help there for the block by Jeff Green.
And I told you, Devendorf, when he penetrates, he's looking for his.
Yep.
You got to recognize the defense. It's okay to go for your own shot, but you got to read the D.
Devendorf 4 for 12 tonight. He's attempted more shots than any other Syracuse player in this game. Green. Hibbert, and he's fouled. Green airballed the shot, a target for every ball that's up around the rim. But don't forget, the second semifinal for the Big East Championship presented by Aeropostale comes your way next right here on ESPN. The #2 seed and second-ranked Villanova Wildcats taking on a 16th ranked Pittsburgh. Remember, #1 UConn has been knocked out. Villanova's got a shot. Obviously, they're going to be a 1 seed. It would appear they're going to play at the Wachovia Center in Philadelphia. It would appear they're going to play in the regional in Washington. They've got a chance to go into the tournament. Top overall seed in the nation, depending on how things shake out in the next couple of days. Timeout Syracuse with 4:10 to go. These teams, as mentioned, have met 11 times before in the Big East Championship. Let's go all the way back to the first one, 1980. This game was in Syracuse. Louis Orr led Syracuse. Sleepy Floyd starring for Georgetown. Roosevelt Bowie called for a travel. And Georgetown, this game was held, that one you just saw, in Providence, Rhode Island. Greg Shelton was named the tournament MVP. The 12th meeting in Big East Championship history. Georgetown leads 6-5. They won 4 out of 5 in championship games. The first one was held in Providence. Then they went to Syracuse. Then they went to Hartford. The last 24 have been here. And Big John Thompson standing behind that man who's rudely blocking Big John Thompson.
That man
hard to block.
That man is big too.
There's Big John. Big East championships for Georgetown, tied with UConn for the most. Syracuse has 4, including one last year.
As a Hall of Famer, one of the all-time greats. You know, and just the king of Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Understand that in his radio show, he got a lifetime deal. So the folks don't want to be without Big John and his wisdom.
As you said before, Len Devendorf looking for his, and 7-foot 2-inch wall known as Roy Hibbert. Green, nobody stops the ball. And again, the big guys doing some beautiful passing in the paint.
And again, you talk about the unselfishness, but also you got to be a good passer and you have to have excellent hands.
56-53 Georgetown. Late in the semis here in New York.
Investing is about knowing the waters and where the real risks are. At T. Rowe Price, we navigate the market with discipline, relying on experience and our own independent research. For each 1, 5, and 10-year period, 70% of our funds beat their Lipper average. Low-cost mutual funds from T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. Request a complete prospectus or profile with investment objectives, risks, fees, expenses, and other information to read and consider carefully before investing.
Hey, nice Harley.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. It's the way I live my life, you know, by my own rules. Well, that's my creed or motto. My credo, you know?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like to live like by the edge of my... Can you believe the crime in this town? It's crazy. It's like broad daylight right in front of us. It's like, hello, it's my bike, miss.
Maybe you should get your own.
So we need 90 notebooks, Wi-Fi enabled ASAP?
Right.
You just want me to make them appear now?
All right. Kazo Acho. I'm just kidding. I'll call CDW. You'll have your notebooks in no time.
Nobody responds like CDW with great technology like the ThinkPad T43 notebook with fingerprint reader technology for added security. CDW, the right technology right away.
So you guys want me to conjure up some PCs too?
On Selection Sunday, who's in?
That is going to be the most compelling region.
Who's out?
That is not fair.
Dive into the Jay and Dickie V. Bracketology, Sunday beginning at 5 on ESPN.
Introducing mobile ESPN. Sports fans, your phone has arrived.
Welcome back to New York. Syracuse trying to pull off another win and advance to the semis. Georgetown had a couple of close wins the first two rounds. A narrow lead here tonight. Let's take you back to the first Demera has done. Final seconds against Cincinnati Wednesday. The running three with less than a second to go. And Syracuse wins 74-73. Then against top-ranked UConn yesterday, a 3 to force overtime. And the Orange would win in OT to advance to the semis. He has had a memorable couple of days here in New York. Can he and the Orange do it again, or will Georgetown survive and advance yet again? The winner going on to the final against the Pittsburgh. Our next semifinal here tonight on ESPN.
You know, I've been saying it for the last day or so. Something magical about this Syracuse team. You know, they've gotten some breaks. They've made some breaks. You know, you look at a guy like Matt Gorman giving them a lift just at a time when they need it. Terrence Roberts not really productive. Jerry McNamara comes and turns it on here in the second half, and they close a 15-point deficit. We're getting set up for another heroic play.
An impressive turnaround for a team that was 9 by DePaul 8 days ago. Syracuse trying to hustle the ball down the court. The Orange fans wanted a foul there on that collision in the paint. Jerry McNamara still barking at one of the officials.
Well, that might have been a good no-call situation. Both guys going for the ball. And it was Nichols that actually ran into the defender who was stationary.
Len, that's actually Syracuse's first turnover of the second half.
Well, that goes a long way in making a comeback. Not giving it back to the other guy.
Shot clock at 5. Looking for Hibbert. And the bounce pass goes out of bounds. Let's take a look at that collision at the other end.
Well, you take a look right here. Hibbert in good defensive position. And it was Nichols that actually ran into the defender. So there's incidental contact. Good restraint by the officials.
McNamara's got Bowman on him right now. McNamara goes baseline, falls down, and the pass eludes Matt Gorman as McNamara slipped.
And if you're your situation, 3-point lead, about 2:40 left, you got to make Syracuse pay on this possession.
Georgetown with just one timeout left. They've committed only 4 fouls here this half. Syracuse over the limit right now. The arrow favors the Hoyas. Less than 2.5 to go. Georgetown clinging to a 3-point lead. A deep 3 for Cook. Hibbert with the rebound. And he's going to the line for a couple of free throws.
Jerry McNamara, in his attempt to make something happen, tried to stay low. Obviously, in turning the corner, lost his footing. And Hibbert just battling Watkins down low. Does a nice job of getting to a spot in front of the rim where it's good position to get the offensive rebound.
Len Hibbert now 0 for 3 from the line in this game. He and Jeff Green have missed some big free throws in the last couple of minutes. Georgetown as a team has missed their last 5.
4%.
Got some air under that one, and the lead goes to 4. A pro-Syracuse crowd here in New York for the most part. An Orange team that was down 15 at halftime and has never led. Nichols would have been huge. Hibbert, another rebound, is 13th of the game.
Syracuse has got to be careful in settling for the jumpers unless it's Jerry McNamara, because that's his game, especially the long jumpers. Got to put pressure on the defense.
And again, Georgetown's going to milk the clock. They can get it under 1.5 minutes on this possession. Bowman almost lost it. Green with 2 on the shot clock. Ball still in play. Oh, what a killer that is for Syracuse.
Jeff Green, presence of mind after he stays with it as the shot was taken. Obviously, desperation shot, and it came off long, and Green right there.
12th offensive rebound for Georgetown. Remember, they had 17 in their win over Syracuse 2 weeks ago. That was the most painful one of all for Syracuse fans. Green shot way off. Rebound Gorman. Under a minute to go. And a timeout taken by Jim Boeheim. Pulled games out against Cincinnati and Connecticut, making it 100% sure that they're going to the NCAA tournament. Georgetown, you knew they were going before they came in. They've had narrow wins against Marquette and Notre Dame going back the second round and the first round. The 4 games these two teams have played have all been nail-biters. That's the way it's been in this league all season long.
Well, again, we talk about the idea of parity, but it goes beyond that. It goes to the point where guys know each other, coaches know their teams and the other guy's team. They're able to set up and essentially stop what you do best, forcing teams to adjust. And when you do that, and it comes down to close game situations. Now, the one factor that separates the really good teams is obviously talent. And when you have 1 or 2 guys that are out there that can get the job done in clutch situations, you've got an advantage. And with Syracuse, you recognize all you need is one. All you need is to play good defense, stay close, and then you let your clutch guy like a Jerry McNamara take over. You wonder if Georgetown has that clutch guy in a close game situation.
McNamara's had a big second half. Syracuse has had a very little inside presence, very little poke. Georgetown obviously is going to focus a lot of their defensive attention on McNamara. What does Syracuse do? What else can they try to do to get some offense?
Well, again, it's certainly going to be Jerry McNamara. A little ball movement to kind of lull the man-to-man to sleep. I mean, 33 seconds on the shot clock gives Syracuse plenty of time, to get a shot off. But then, obviously, if they're going to be looking for a 3 with McNamara at that time, give themselves a chance.
McNamara got it! A 3! It's a 1-point game, and Syracuse will use another timeout. Man, has he been clutch this week.
Man, I'm surprised, though. You know that McNamara's going to touch it. You see him get it off the inbound. You got to step up and you got to play it. I mean, look how much room he's given. Once he receives, there's nobody in front of him. And they just let him go up to the 3-point line before he's contested.
Same kind of thing Jim Calhoun was talking about after yesterday's game, how they just gave Jerry McNamara too much free space to roam.
You got to make him handle. You got to make any great shooter put it on the floor, change direction, get him out of rhythm. That was a perfect rhythm shot for Jerry McNamara.
McNamara 5 threes, all of them in the second half, 17 points overall.
Again, McNamara receives, just steps right through. Guys reaching, nobody in front of them. They came laterally, but you got to get in.
Huge couple of games against Cincinnati and Connecticut, and the numbers getting right up in that territory again here tonight after this big second half. 48 seconds left in the game. Georgetown with the ball and a 1-point lead. The arrow in the Hoyas' favor. Each team with 1 timeout. McNamara wants his gang to make some noise, and they oblige.
And obviously, with 26 seconds on the shot clock, Syracuse is going to get the ball back here.
Hibbert looking for some space on the inside, bumping with Watkins and Gorman.
Looking to run that high-low with Green and Hibbert.
Cook, 5 on the shot clock. Gorman got a hand on it. Syracuse has the ball. McNamara to Devendorf, and they've got their first lead of the night. Georgetown's going to play it out. 4 seconds to go. And a travel. Syracuse has the ball.
Are you telling me there's no magic in this house tonight? Unbelievable. Breakdown defensively by Georgetown. No direction on the offensive end. And you give Syracuse the defense credit for that. Never let Georgetown into their set against the zone. All began with giving Jerry McNamara that clean look on the 3. I think that's what deflated Georgetown's chances to win this ball game.
Subs coming in for both teams. On that run out, Jeff Green tried to foul. Georgetown had a couple to give, but he couldn't catch McNamara, who fed Devendorf. 1.5 seconds to go. And a foul is called on Owens, who just knocked Josh Wright to the ground because they don't want McNamara shooting free throws, and there are no free throws. It's just on Georgetown. They're walking the floor as if they're going to shoot free throws, but the scoreboard here indicates that's only the 5th team foul on Georgetown. They're going to have to foul again and then again to get them to the line, unless the ball gets inbounded and they somehow come up with a steal. 0.2 of a second come off the clock.
2 fouls and 1.3. Georgetown just got to go for the steal right now. You know, I put him, get a guy to play center field and take a guess.
And I think the officials are going to look at a monitor to see how much time, if any, should have come off the clock. Another remarkable sequence, though. The McNamara 3, a Syracuse steal. McNamara feeding Devendorf for the layup. This is the first time all night Syracuse has led. They were down 15 at halftime, and if the Orange win, this will be the largest halftime deficit in Big East tournament history. The foul was called, in my opinion, before the ball was inbounded.
And that's why they should put the 1.5 back.
Remember, the clock doesn't start till somebody inbounds touches the ball, and that's what they're going to do, and that's the correct call. So it's back to 1.5. And we'll see how the Hoyas play it now. 5 team fouls this half committed by Georgetown.
Got to go for the steal.
And a foul with 0.1 of a second left. Demetrius Nichols is the guy who got wrapped up, but again, that's just the 6th team foul, so still no free throws, and a precious second came off the clock.
From Syracuse, I just look to try to throw it to half court. Just have somebody touch it, and it's over.
And it's over. Another remarkable win for the Syracuse Orange. Jerry McNamara, an incredible second half comeback, and a 1-point win for Syracuse. The only time the entire game they had the lead. And the Orange will have a chance to defend their title tomorrow night.
Boy, what a change in defense by Syracuse. First half, Georgetown very comfortable against the zone. But here in moving the ball, drive baseline, you know the double team is coming. There's the steal, and it hit to get back. I don't even think he knew Devendorf was behind him. Once again, driving the baseline. There's the double team, something that the second half you saw more of. And Hibbert trying to get back, never saw Devendorf run in the lane. And we mentioned before, Syracuse so tough in transition out of that zone.
Syracuse with 3 wins in this tournament by a total of 4 points. Derek Coleman is on the floor now, hugging Jerry McNamara. Lawrence Moten is out there. House, a big win for the program, not only for the current members of the Orange, and Dad Jerry, Mom Joyce looking on. Let's go cross court. Mark Jones standing by with Jerry McNamara.
They're chanting Jerry, and why not? Jerry, take us through the three-pointer that brought you guys close with 49 seconds to go. What were you thinking on that sequence?
Well, same thing I thought yesterday. If I had a little bit of room, I was going to take it. If they came out, I was going to go. And I got by that first bump all the way, and I just took it.
Have you ever been a part of a magical run like this in your life in basketball? What does this mean?
Well, I'm so proud of our guys. We could have easily quit. We could have came down here and laid over. And for us to make the finals after the year that we've had is pretty impressive. I'm just so proud of these guys.
What does it mean to make that play where Devendorf finishes it off? Take us through that play.
Well, I'm happy for Eric. You know, he's such a great player, and he's made so many great plays in this tournament for us. But I've been the one to make the last shot, and he's kind of got overshadowed. So Demetrius, man, I think it was Hibbert stepped up, and he was open, so I gave it to him. I'm just happy he was knowledge enough to know where to go, and he's played great for us.
Jerry, thanks a lot for joining us. He's being held together, Dan, by spit, tape, and glue. He'll be in the ice tub tonight. What a game.
Some kind of ball game here tonight, and we got another one coming. The Wildcats and the Panthers have already taken the court. We're about 20 minutes away from the second semifinal here at the Big East Championship presented by Aeropostale, with a winner to take on the Orange in the championship game tomorrow night, 8 p.m. right here on ESPN. What a comeback. Syracuse 58, Georgetown 57. Sports Center is next here on ESPN. Then come on right back and join us for Pitt and Villanova. Dan Shulman, Len Omar, and Mark Jones, hoping you're with us for the second semifinal after that great comeback by the Orange.